The financial life of many people can collapse without them noticing the warning signs. For some, bankruptcy does not happen overnight, but rather as a result of small mistakes accumulated over time. In the United States, statistics show that more than 60% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck, with no savings for emergencies. When an unexpected event occurs, such as an unforeseen job loss or medical debt, many are forced to resort to high-interest loans, entering a dangerous cycle of debt. This was the case for David Thompson, a sales manager from Texas, who, after losing his job during the 2008 crisis, did not have enough savings to sustain himself. What started as using his credit card to pay for basic expenses soon turned into an unmanageable debt of over $50,000, leading him to bankruptcy. The first mistake that can lead someone to financial ruin is the lack of proper planning. Many people spend without a defined budget, relying solely on their monthly income. The problem arises when fixed expenses, such as rent, bills, and food, exceed earnings, leaving no room for unexpected costs. A Federal Reserve survey reveals that 40% of Americans would not be able to cover an unexpected $400 expense without resorting to a loan or a credit card. This data reinforces the importance of creating an emergency fund, something that could have prevented David's crisis. He himself admits that if he had saved at least 6 months' worth of expenses, he would have been able to recover without resorting to unpayable debts. Another common mistake is excessive reliance on credit without understanding its consequences. Credit cards are widely used in the United States, and the average credit card debt per household exceeds $6,000. High interest rates cause small purchases to turn into massive debts over time. Sarah Mitchell, a nurse from New York, saw her situation spiral out of control when she started using multiple credit cards to cover daily expenses. The credit limit seemed like an extension of her income, but reality hit when her outstanding balance exceeded her ability to pay. With interest accumulating rapidly, Sarah ended up enrolling in a debt renegotiation program, but it took her nearly a decade to clear her name. The inability to distinguish between needs and wants is also a crucial factor in financial downfall. The culture of consumption in the United States encourages people to purchase goods and services that are often not essential. Social media, influencers, and advertising campaigns create an environment where having the latest smartphone model or driving a new car seems more important than financial stability. Many people go into debt to maintain a lifestyle they cannot afford. A study by Northwestern Mutual revealed that about 20% of Americans spend more than they earn, relying on loans and revolving credit to cover the gap. This behavior is one of the main reasons why so many people find themselves without financial resources when they truly need them. To avoid bankruptcy, the first step is recognizing these signs and taking action before it is too late. Creating a detailed budget, cutting unnecessary expenses, and starting to build an emergency fund are essential strategies to prevent financial collapse. David, for example, learned the importance of planning after his traumatic experience. After years of struggling, he changed his habits, started saving a portion of his monthly income, and adopted a more modest lifestyle. Today, he shares his story to warn others about the risks of financial illiteracy and the illusion of easy credit. Financial experts warn that bankruptcy does not occur abruptly in most cases. In reality, it is the result of a series of financial mistakes that, over time, become unsustainable. In the United States, the lack of financial education is one of the main factors leading individuals and families to ruin. Studies from the U.S. Financial Health Network reveal that 57% of Americans consider themselves financially vulnerable or just surviving. Debt delinquency, excessive interest rates, and lack of income diversification are some of the major culprits behind this scenario. One of the biggest causes of bankruptcy in the United States is excessive debt. The easy access to credit leads many people to accumulate debt without proper planning. A Federal Reserve survey shows that the average household credit card debt in the U.S. is approximately $7,000, not including car loans, mortgages, and student loans. The problem arises when these debts become unmanageable, creating a domino effect. This was the case for Mike Carlson, a small business owner in Chicago who, in an attempt to expand his business, took on more debt than he could handle. Without financial reserves, the interest quickly accumulated, and within a few years, he found himself unable to pay his creditors, resulting in a bankruptcy that could have been avoided with proper planning. Another factor contributing to bankruptcy is the lack of a savings and investment strategy. Most Americans do not have enough financial reserves to handle economic crises or unexpected events. According to data from Bankrupt, 28% of Americans have no emergency savings, and 25% have less than $1,000 set aside. This means that an unexpected event, such as a medical expense or job loss, can push many people into financial collapse. Linda Parker, a retired teacher from California, faced severe financial difficulties after an accident that required long-term medical treatment. Without an adequate emergency fund, she had to resort to high-interest loans, which compromised her economic stability for years. Impulsive decision-making is also one of the main issues leading to bankruptcy. Many people invest or spend large sums without prior analysis, relying on promises of easy returns or temporary market trends. A clear example of this is the rise in personal bankruptcies among cryptocurrency investors and sports bettors. Data from the Federal Trade Commission indicates that in 2022, financial fraud-related losses reached $8.8 billion, many of them involving risky investments. Tom Green, a young investor from Florida, bet all his savings on digital assets without diversifying his portfolio. When the market crashed, he lost almost everything in a matter of months, forcing him to start over from scratch. Cases like his highlight the importance of seeking financial education and carefully planning each decision before committing assets. Experts also point out that the lack of income diversification is a common mistake among those who eventually go bankrupt. Relying solely on a single income stream can be a significant risk, especially in times of economic instability. A Pew Research Center study found that 30% of American workers experienced significant income loss over the past 5 years. To mitigate this risk, many have started investing in multiple sources of income, such as freelancing, personal businesses, and passive investments. A successful example is Maria Gonzalez, a former hospitality industry employee who, after being laid off during the pandemic, decided to start a small online business selling handmade products. Today, not only has she regained her financial stability, but she has also built a diversified income stream that provides her with greater security for the future. The best way to avoid bankruptcy is to recognize mistakes before they become an irreversible problem. Gaining control over personal finances, avoiding excessive debt, diversifying income sources, and building financial reserves are essential steps to ensuring economic security. The stories of people who have faced bankruptcy and managed to rebuild their lives demonstrate that, with proper planning and financial education, it is possible to avoid common mistakes and create a more stable future. Financial recovery is a process that requires discipline, planning, and a significant change in the way one manages money. In the United States, millions of people face economic difficulties and need to find ways to get out of debt. According to a study by the National Foundation for Credit Counseling, 62% of Americans admit that their debts prevent them from achieving important financial goals. However, there are effective strategies to reverse this situation and regain economic stability. The first step to climbing out of financial trouble is to conduct a detailed assessment of the current situation. This includes listing all debts, identifying interest rates, payment deadlines, and determining which expenses are essential. That is exactly what Robert Stevenson, an engineer from California, did after accumulating more than $80,000 in credit card and loan debts. Realizing that his spending was out of control, he sought a financial consultant and implemented a structured repayment plan, cutting unnecessary expenses and renegotiating his debts with creditors. In 5 years, he successfully eliminated his debt and restructured his finances. Another crucial strategy is debt negotiation. Many companies offer refinancing options or discounts for lump sum payments. Programs like National Debt Relief and Freedom Debt Relief have helped thousands of Americans reduce their debts by up to 50%, making repayment more manageable. Jennifer Collins, a former entrepreneur from New York, was able to reduce her $40,000 debt to $18,000 through a debt settlement agreement, allowing her to reorganize her financial life without having to declare bankruptcy. Creating an additional source of income is another effective way to accelerate financial recovery. In today's economic landscape, more and more people are turning to side jobs or investing in small businesses to supplement their income. According to a study by the Pew Research Center, about 16% of Americans have a side hustle that helps them cover expenses and build a financial safety net. Mark Wilson, a former marketing manager, started selling products online after losing his job, and within a few years, he turned his small business into his primary source of income. Moreover, developing a disciplined financial mindset is essential to avoid repeating past mistakes. This involves learning about financial literacy, practicing mindful spending, and setting realistic goals. Studies from the University of Chicago show that individuals who follow a financial plan are 60% more likely to achieve economic stability compared to those who make impulsive financial decisions. One effective way to do this is by following the 50 divided by 30 divided by 20 rule, where 50% of income is allocated to necessities, 30% to discretionary spending, and 20% to savings and investments. The recovery story of David Martinez, a former executive from Florida, demonstrates that it is possible to come back from bankruptcy and rebuild a healthy financial life. After declaring bankruptcy due to poor investment management, he dedicated himself to studying financial education, adopted a more modest lifestyle, and invested in safer assets. In 10 years, not only did he pay off his debts, but he also managed to accumulate significant wealth. His story highlights the importance of resilience and continuous learning in the financial recovery process. Understanding financial recovery strategies and applying them consistently is what separates those who successfully overcome their debts from those who remain trapped in a cycle of financial difficulties. With proper planning, debt negotiation, income diversification, and financial education, it is possible to reverse a bankruptcy situation and secure a more stable and secure future. The power of financial education is manifested in the ability to make informed decisions and avoid pitfalls that lead to debt and economic instability. In the United States, where the financial system offers various forms of credit and easy consumption, the lack of financial education is one of the biggest challenges faced by the population. A study by the National Financial Capability Survey revealed that 63% of Americans are considered financially illiterate, meaning they struggle to understand basic concepts such as compound interest, inflation, and investment diversification. The lack of financial education directly impacts people's lives, leading them to make poor decisions that compromise their economic future. John Peterson, a former retail manager from New York, believed he was financially secure simply because he paid his bills on time. However, when he took out a loan to buy a luxury car without considering the high interest rates and additional costs, he quickly found himself in debt. In less than 2 years, his debt tripled, forcing him to sell the vehicle at a significant loss. This situation could have been avoided if he had understood the importance of calculating the true cost of financing before taking on the debt. The first step to avoiding financial mistakes is to seek knowledge about economic planning. Building an effective personal budget is essential to maintaining a balance between income and expenses. Studies from the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau indicate that individuals who regularly track their spending are 30% more likely to achieve financial security compared to those who do not manage their money properly. Setting realistic financial goals, cutting unnecessary expenses, and creating an emergency fund are practical strategies that help prevent bankruptcy. Financial education also involves understanding different types of investments and how they can impact long-term financial security. Many Americans rely entirely on Social Security, without realizing that this system may not be sufficient to maintain their standard of living in retirement. The Federal Reserve reports that 40% of American adults have no investments beyond a basic bank account, missing opportunities to build a more secure future. Paul Richardson, a university professor from California, realized this mistake at the age of 50 when he discovered that his retirement savings would be insufficient. He then started investing in index funds, and within a decade, he was able to triple his retirement savings. Another essential aspect of financial education is awareness of smart consumption and strategic credit use. Excessive credit card debt is one of the leading causes of bankruptcy in the United States, with interest rates exceeding 25% per year. Learning to differentiate needs from wants and avoiding impulse purchases are fundamental skills for maintaining financial stability. One effective strategy is to use rewards programs and cashback offers to the consumer's advantage, securing benefits without compromising the budget. The story of Emily Johnson, a young entrepreneur from Texas, illustrates how financial education can transform lives. At 25 years old, she decided to learn about financial management on her own and began applying savings and investment strategies. Within 5 years, she was able to buy her home without resorting to high-interest loans and also built an emergency fund sufficient to cover 3 years of expenses. Today, Emily shares her knowledge with other young people, proving that financial education is the key to economic freedom. Investing in financial education is the best way to avoid financial traps and ensure a stable future. Understanding how the financial market works, learning about investments, and maintaining an efficient economic plan can make all the difference between security and debt. Financial knowledge is a powerful tool that can transform lives and provide a more secure and independent future. Extra income strategies and smart investments are essential for ensuring financial stability and avoiding debt situations. In the United States, where the cost of living has risen significantly, relying solely on a fixed salary may not be enough to cover all expenses while still planning for a secure future. According to a Pew Research Center study, approximately 16% of Americans have an additional source of income beyond their primary job, which helps them maintain a higher level of financial security. One of the most effective ways to generate extra income is through entrepreneurship. Many people find opportunities in online businesses such as e-commerce stores, digital content creation, and freelance services. The story of Laura Jenkins, a teacher from Chicago, illustrates this reality. She started selling handmade products on an online platform as a side project. Within 2 years, she managed to turn this hobby into her main source of income, allowing her to leave her traditional job and achieve greater financial independence. Another viable option for increasing income is investing wisely. The financial market offers various opportunities, from stocks and real estate funds to fixed income securities. However, it is crucial to understand the risks and returns of each investment before committing money. Federal Reserve studies indicate that only 40% of Americans regularly invest outside of retirement accounts, meaning a significant portion of the population is not taking advantage of the growth potential of their financial resources. Mark Peterson, a former executive from New York, realized this gap in his finances at age 45. He then began studying investments and, within a decade, accumulated significant wealth through diversified investments in ETFs and real estate. Beyond traditional investments, modern passive income strategies have also gained popularity. Renting out properties through platforms like Airbnb, for example, has allowed many people to earn a steady income without actively working. According to an Airbnb report, hosts in the U.S. earned an average of $13,000 per year by renting out their properties. Sarah Miller, a young entrepreneur from Florida, used this strategy to pay off her mortgage and later acquired 2 more properties, building a highly profitable passive income stream. A critical approach for those looking to improve their income is diversification. Relying solely on a single income stream can be risky, especially in times of economic uncertainty. In addition to entrepreneurship and investing, some individuals explore online teaching, social media monetization, and affiliate programs as ways to supplement their income. John Carter, a former tech employee, created a YouTube channel sharing personal finance tips. In just 3 years, he managed to generate substantial revenue through advertising and sponsorships, turning his passion into a profitable business. Building an extra income stream and learning how to invest wisely not only provides greater financial security, but also opens doors to future opportunities. Knowledge of money management, long-term planning, and resource diversification can make all the difference in building a solid economic future. With dedication and the right strategies, it is possible to transform financial reality and achieve a safer and more prosperous life. Building a sustainable financial future requires discipline, planning, and the adoption of healthy money habits. In the United States, where the cost of living continues to rise, and access to credit can either facilitate success or lead to financial ruin, it is essential to develop long-term strategies to ensure economic stability. Federal Reserve data shows that about 40% of Americans would be unable to cover a $400 unexpected expense without resorting to loans or credit cards. This reality underscores the importance of solid financial preparation. One of the first steps to achieving financial sustainability is establishing a long-term plan. This includes creating a robust emergency fund capable of covering at least 6 months of essential expenses. The story of Michael Robinson, a technology sector worker from California, highlights the necessity of this approach. After being unexpectedly laid off, he managed to remain financially stable for nearly a year without taking on debt, thanks to careful planning and a well-structured financial reserve. Beyond saving, investing wisely is crucial for maintaining financial security in the future. Many Americans are still reluctant to invest due to a lack of knowledge or fear of losing money. However, University of Chicago studies show that individuals who start investing early have a significantly greater chance of building substantial wealth over time. Sarah Mitchell, a nurse from Florida, began investing small amounts in index funds at age 25. Today, at 45, she has already accumulated enough wealth to secure a comfortable retirement without relying solely on Social Security. Another essential factor in building a secure financial future is diversifying income sources. Relying solely on a fixed salary can be risky, especially during economic downturns. Diversifying income through investments, side businesses, or passive income can ensure greater long-term security. A prime example is Kevin Thompson, a former banking sector employee who, recognizing the instability of the job market, invested in rental properties. Today, his passive income grants him greater financial freedom, eliminating his dependence on a traditional job. Continuous financial education also plays a crucial role in maintaining economic stability. Understanding concepts such as inflation, interest rates, and tax planning can help avoid financial traps and maximize earnings. According to a report by the National Endowment for Financial Education, people who invest in financial education are 50% more likely to achieve long-term economic goals. Jessica Allen, a successful entrepreneur, attributes her financial independence to continuous learning about investments and wealth management, which allowed her to expand her business ventures without compromising her financial security. Building a financially sustainable future does not happen overnight. However, with proper planning, discipline, and financial knowledge, anyone can achieve economic independence. Establishing an emergency fund, making smart investments, diversifying income sources, and seeking financial education are essential steps to ensuring a stable life free from excessive money worries.